Let's start our first news with Paulo Costa revealing that he turned down a short-notice fight against Magomed. And the reason behind it has quickly become one of the biggest talking points among MMA fans. For weeks, Costa had been publicly expressing frustration with the UFC, claiming that the promotion wasn't offering him any fights and that he was being left on the sidelines. However, during his appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, Costa confirmed that the UFC recently reached out with an offer him to step in on short notice for a major fight in Abu Dhabi. Despite the opportunity, Costa decided to decline the offer. According to him, the timing simply made no sense. The fight was less than 14 days away, and with a long trip to Abu Dhabi, a 5-round main event, and the challenge of making weight in such a short period, he felt the situation was unrealistic. Costa explained that he currently weighs around 234 pounds and would need roughly 7 to 8 weeks to safely make the required weight. While he believes he can prepare faster than he could in the past, less than 2 weeks was simply not enough time for a proper camp. Another major factor was the lack of stakes attached to the fight. Since there was no belt on the line, Costa felt there was little incentive to accept such a difficult challenge under those circumstances. He admitted that he did consider the offer, but stated that a larger financial package or improvements to his contract could have changed his decision. Feeling disrespected by the proposal, Costa later took to social media and mocked the offer, making it clear that he had no interest in accepting those terms. Move on to another news, and the discussion surrounding Kamaru Usman and his future in the sport is starting to heat up ahead of his massive showdown with Du Plessis. It has been more than a year since fans last saw Usman compete inside the octagon, with his most recent appearance ending in a victory over Joaquin Buckley. However, the former champion is now 39 years old, and many believe that time is becoming a major factor in the final stage of his legendary career. Because of that, several voices in the MMA community have started to speculate that this upcoming fight could determine whether Usman continues fighting or decides to walk away from the sport for good. Both Sean Al-Shatti and MMA Guru recently shared their thoughts on the situation, suggesting that a loss against Du Plessis could potentially mark the end of Usman's championship ambitions and possibly his entire career. They pointed out that Usman has always been known for accepting difficult challenges and fighting anyone placed in front of him. Throughout his career, he built a reputation as one of the toughest competitors in the sport, never backing away from dangerous opponents or high-pressure situations. Still, this fight feels different. At 39 years old, and after dealing with several injuries over the years, many believe Usman views this matchup as one final push toward UFC gold. For Du Plessis, who is still only 32 years old, there is plenty of time left to remain in the title picture. But for Usman, the stakes could not be higher. That is why many analysts are calling this a must-win fight for the former champion. A victory immediately throws him back into title contention, while a defeat could signal the closing chapter of one of the greatest careers the welterweight division has ever seen. Move on to another news, as Jon Jones has once again found himself at the center of attention after posting a surprising message involving UFC President Dana White. Jones recently shared an Instagram story featuring a photo of himself standing alongside Dana, and it immediately caught the attention of MMA fans across social media. What really got people talking, however, was the caption that accompanied the image. Alongside the photo, Jones wrote, "Changed my life. Always a homie, no matter what." The message was short, but it carried plenty of meaning. Over the years, the relationship between Jon Jones and Dana White has experienced its fair share of ups and downs. There have been contract disputes, public disagreements, and long periods of uncertainty surrounding Jones's future in the UFC. Despite those moments of tension, the latest post appeared to show a very different side of their relationship. Fans quickly began speculating about the timing of the message and what it could potentially mean moving forward. The photo itself appears to have been taken recently, during the trip where Jones was helping corner Gable Steveson. That immediately fueled discussion that the former heavyweight champion may be working on rebuilding momentum behind the scenes and strengthening his relationship with UFC management. Whether intentional or not, The post certainly gave the impression that Jones wanted to publicly show appreciation for the role Dana played throughout his career. After all, under the UFC banner, Jones became one of the biggest stars in the history of mixed martial arts, breaking records, capturing championships, and cementing himself as one of the most accomplished fighters the sport has ever seen. The timing of the post has also led some fans to wonder if Jones could be positioning himself for another major move in the near future. While there has been plenty of speculation surrounding his future, one thing is clear. Any activity involving Jon Jones immediately grabs the attention of the MMA world. The post may have only lasted a few seconds on Instagram, but it generated major discussion and once again reminded everyone that whenever Jon Jones speaks, the entire sport pays attention. Meanwhile, Israel Adesanya also appeared on Demetrius Johnson's platform, adding even more intrigue to an already busy week in the MMA world. Move on to another news, as Israel Adesanya has revealed that he entered one of the biggest fights of his career while dealing with a serious injury behind the scenes. Speaking recently on Demetrius Johnson's YouTube channel, Adesanya opened up about the condition he was in, leading up to his unforgettable rematch against Alex Pereira at UFC 287 in Miami. According to Adesanya, the injury happened just 10 days before the fight, during the final stages of his training camp. The former champion revealed that he suffered a bad injury to his right knee, creating a major problem so close to one of the most important moments of his career. For many fighters, an injury of that magnitude so close to fight night could easily lead to a withdrawal from the event. Months of preparation can disappear in an instant, and competing while injured always comes with significant risks. However, for Adesanya, this was not a normal fight. The rivalry with Alex Pereira had become deeply personal. After their history across kickboxing and mixed martial arts, Adesanya felt that UFC 287 represented much more than just another title fight or another paycheck. He explained that the matchup carried enormous meaning, not only for himself, but also for everyone involved in making the event happen. There were fans waiting for the rematch. The promotion had invested heavily in the contest, and countless people were depending on the fight taking place as scheduled. More importantly, Adesanya feared that if he missed that opportunity, he might never receive the same chance again. That possibility was enough for him to make a difficult decision. Despite the pain and despite the risks, Adesanya chose to move forward with the fight and trust that he could find a way to perform when the cage door closed. Looking back now, the decision only adds another layer to one of the most memorable moments of his career. Competing at the highest level while carrying an injury is something many fighters experience, but doing it in a fight with that level of emotion and pressure makes the story even more remarkable. For Adesanya, the choice was simple. Some opportunities only come once. And sometimes a fighter has to be willing to risk everything to make sure that moment does not slip away. Move on to another news, as Du Plessis has made it very clear that he has no interest in seeing a title rematch between Khamzat and Sean Strickland anytime soon. Speaking in a recent interview with Submission Radio, the former champion shared his thoughts on the current middleweight picture and did not hold back when discussing the possibility of Khamzat and Strickland fighting for the belt again. According to Du Plessis, a rematch between the two simply makes no sense based on what has happened in the division so far. He pointed out that neither Khamzat nor Strickland has successfully defended the middleweight title, while he personally defended the championship twice during his reign. One of those defenses came against Strickland, while the other came against Israel Adesanya, making his resume as champion significantly stronger in his view. Because of that, Du Plessis believes giving the pair another immediate shot at the title would be completely unjustified. In fact, he went as far as calling the idea ridiculous. From his perspective, title opportunities should be earned through performances and achievements inside the octagon, not simply through popularity or unfinished rivalries. Despite disagreeing with the idea, Du Plessis also made it clear that he is not focused on complaining about matchmaking decisions. He admitted that after suffering defeat in his most recent fight, he understands that he cannot make demands or dictate what happens next in the division. Instead, his focus remains entirely on returning to competition and proving himself once again. Du Plessis stated that he intends to let his performances do the talking and earn his place back among the top contenders through action rather than words. With his next fight rapidly approaching, he emphasized that there is little reason for him to spend time discussing hypothetical title fights when he has an important challenge directly in front of him. He expressed confidence that once he steps back into the cage, he will remind everyone exactly why he believes he is still the best middleweight in the world. Outside of the title discussion, Du Plessis also shared his thoughts on the ongoing situation involving Conor, explaining that he feels sympathy for the former two-division champion and believes that difficult situations can happen to anyone, regardless of status or success. Move on to another news, as UFC Abu Dhabi has already suffered a major setback just days before fight night, with one of the event's biggest matchups officially falling apart. According to recent reports, the scheduled main event between Magomed and Khalil Rountree Jr. is no longer happening after Rountree was forced to withdraw from the fight due to an injury. The news came as a huge disappointment for fans, who were looking forward to seeing the explosive striker test himself against one of the division's most dangerous contenders. The matchup had generated plenty of excitement and was expected to play a major role in shaping the future of the light heavyweight division. Losing a main event so close to fight night is never ideal, especially for an international card as important as UFC Abu Dhabi. Fortunately, the UFC moved quickly and managed to secure a replacement opponent in order to keep the event alive. As a result, next week's card will now be headlined by Magomed taking on Bogdan Guskov in the new main event. While many fans agree that the replacement fight may not carry the same level of anticipation as the original matchup, it still promises to deliver an entertaining clash inside the octagon. Guskov has quietly built momentum inside the promotion and has continued to prove himself against increasingly difficult competition. Most recently, he competed against Jon Blachowicz in a fight that ended in a draw, showing that he can compete with some of the division's top names. Before that result, Guskov had put together an impressive 4-fight winning streak and currently holds a strong record inside the UFC. The late switch also creates another problem for the promotion, as Guskov had originally been scheduled to face Jon Blachowicz at UFC Serbia on August 1st. That means the search for another replacement opponent is already underway once again. Move on to another news, as RAF has officially announced that a brand new championship will be on the line in the main event of RAF 11. This weekend, Arman is scheduled to face Colby Covington in what was already one of the most anticipated matchups on the card. However, the stakes have now become even bigger after RAF confirmed that the fight will determine the first ever RAF crossover champion. The announcement was made through social media, where RAF unveiled the creation of the new RF Crossover Championship, a title designed specifically for crossover wrestlers and athletes coming from different areas of combat sports. According to the promotion, this championship is intended to showcase elite competitors from across multiple disciplines and create unique matchups that fans would not normally get the chance to see. The organization also confirmed that the first chapter in the history of the division will begin in Milwaukee, where Arman and Colby will battle for the inaugural Cruiserweight Crossover Championship. With a title now attached to the contest, the pressure and importance of the matchup have increased significantly for both competitors. For Arman, this represents his first opportunity to capture championship gold inside RAF after putting together a dominant run through the promotion. He currently holds a perfect 7-0 record in RAF competition and has established himself as one of the organization's biggest stars through consistent performances and victories over tough opponents. Meanwhile, Colby enters the contest undefeated in RAF as well, carrying an impressive 3-0 record into the biggest match of his run with the promotion. With both men protecting unbeaten records and a historic championship being awarded for the very first time, the stage is set for one of the most important fights in RAF history and one of the most entertaining crossover events fans have seen in recent memory.